Well, a big good morning to everybody. Of course, if you're from Europe, then you would have been waking up to a ton of information, which we're going to be going over in this video. Yes, Guang is here to tell us everything that's happening in the world of Marvel Rivals in Season 1, and there's a ton of things to go over. So we all know the season is called Eternal Night Falls. And as Galacta opens up our new adventure, we of course are facing off against Dracula. The story narrative sees him as the big bad, and we have three new maps: the Sanctum Sanctorum, which is a Doom match, we'll talk about that later on, Midtown, New York City, this is a convoy map, and Central Park. We see in the Mr. Fantastic gameplay video, which I'll be doing a breakdown later on, what seems to be Midtown. I've been to Midtown, and this is sort of close to Midtown. I'm expecting to see a lot more trash cans, a lot more noise. There is a lot of noise. You also seem to be fighting in the Avengers Tower, which I don't know might actually play into what is Midtown. And this could indeed be the new game mode, which we'll talk about in a second. So one of the new modes that is coming into the game is what's on the screen. There's no images, but you can see it's an 8 to 12 person map or fight, and then 50% of people that are in the top, 50% are the ones that claim victory overall. So I guess it looks like everyone's a winner. That's cool. And yes, I know, Doctor Strange, you just gotta be good. It's also hinted at towards the Dev Diary midpoint that they're going to be doing a half-season kind of update on what is more to come, especially as you don't learn much or anything about the Central Park map. I'm sure that will be part of what will be opening up, and with it being split into two halves over 3 seasons, or 3 months even, and 6 to 7 weeks each, then at least you get an idea that some of the characters like Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman are going to be releasing very early, with the latter ones releasing, so The Thing and Human Torch releasing in the next few weeks, towards at least say midway point through the season, because that's burning out too soon with a lot of characters to give focus to, and a lot of games developers don't tend to do that. They're like, here's some staggered character releases so you can get a feel and the flavour for them as they come in. It's certainly quite remarkable to note that they will be up to 37 characters at the end point of the season. It's also a good thing to note that there will be characters of the Anchor Boost variety, so they get a 15% damage increase. Not sure if that's going to be always the case, that it's going to be 15% damage. Could it be something like 15% shielding, 15% healing increase? We'll have to see what these benefits going forward, but these will change. So don't get accustomed to the Anchor Boosts. They will be changing going into the new season launch. I'll have a tier list put out, I think, sometime next week. Let's move now on to map details. Apart from the maps looking absolutely incredible and getting to fight in places like the Avengers Tower, and also in the background the bats are flying as part of the story narrative, there's also the convoy. The convoy map will have Herbie as being a payload that you've got to take right to the very end, which is cool. But one of the biggest things that I love the most is the reverse destructibles, which you can see in action on screen right now. Look at it. Everything's coming back to normal, especially because this is actually looking very close to Central Park's, New York Central Station. I guess loosely inspired by this image here. It's not completely like it, but it's similar and looks pretty cool. I should remember what it's actually called. I've been there before. And just a quick note on the story, because I think it's important to mention. Dracula has come to the game. He wants the Chronovium for himself. The Fantastic Four seem to be protecting Reed Richards, who is working on finishing the bridge, which of course we talked about in yesterday's video. Go and check out that video, by the way. And this is important because it sets up the Chronoverse saga, which we've been hearing like so much about. A comic book has started for this particular game. I don't know if it's loosely based on the game, but I'd love to see it in a physical copy, but unfortunately at the moment it is just digital only. The Battle Pass for Season 1 features 10 free skins. The 3 you see on screen are legendary skins as confirmed by the developers. It is going to come at you at a cost of 990 lattice, but you'll get some freebies along the way back. That will be a further 600 lattice back for free and 600 units, so you're effectively making back on what you actually invest back into it, which of course is going to be brilliant further on to future investments. There's good value for money in this game. There is extra skins. There's stuff that is surprising me how well and how good the game is doing with kind of giving these things back. So if you're free to play, I'll be talking about that particular approach further into the release of Season 1, so look out for that. Very excited for the Battle Pass. I think it's going to be a lot better when it's released. I think it's later on this week. So going now on to rebalancing, this is something that is a very big topic for a lot of players that have their mains that are likely going to be nerfed, like Hawkeye and Hela. There's also going to be some other improvements to Vanguard, so you can see the likes of Captain America, Venom, maybe even Thor get a little bit of a buff, although I think that Thor's pretty good. You're also going to see a buff to other types of specialist type duelists like Wolverine and Storm, which is great news, and also a buff to Cloak and Dagger. In what kind of way that will be is largely unknown, but it's just expanding their potencies, whether it being as healers or damage dealers. I'm sure some people will differ about this, but it still could be very positive for how you want to play the character, and unfortunately solidifies that thought that I had right at the beginning of the game's existence and conceivability that hybrid characters could play a big role in this game. Mr. Fantastic is a hybrid character, and we'll be talking about that in a video later on today. I'll be having a full breakdown of how these characters are going to be changing from what they were before to how they will be in a new season, which hopefully should be out towards the weekend. Also, Jeff the Land Shark is going to have a better warning system as to when his ultimate's going to be thrown. So, yeah, he can be singing with great happiness, but when he does his ultimate, people will largely be able to avoid out of it. So that, I guess, is good news for people that want to get away from the Jeff ulting and the pain Jeff has had to experience being, you know, brutalized. There's a really cool new feature being put in, which is funny enough something that we've talked about on the channel, like a tier list based on pick rates, which there is already a website for that, but this is going to be more of an official end. So I'll have to see how they both compare. The hero hot list will at least give you an idea of who is picked the most, who gets the better win rate, and it could be good for metas, but also from banning in a competitive sense, because people like to ban things, don't they? And I'm sure that people won't be banning Hela or Hawkeye because they're going to be nerfed. Also, seeding is coming in, so if you are in a top position, you'll be coming back several ranks and then starting your grind up again. You can see also a new addition of a new rank, so you can look to achieve that, Celestial. Good luck to all people that are fighting hard in the current season and the next season. So let's face it, not everybody can play on very high-end PCs. And also people play on laptops, funnily enough. I've even heard of some people playing on Stream Decks. And now the last topic we're going to talk about is the potato playing experience. This has been a bugbear for a lot of players, and especially myself that plays on a lower end PC until the end of the month, where I can plug in and play my new device and new mouse and keyboard, which is a lot better than the one I've got. Anyway, people want to play on better devices, and there's going to be a frame rate acceleration which is going to improve the potato playing experience. This will be largely a change to create an official alternative for people who are using custom config files on PC to reduce the performance overhead of the game beyond the low tier point, as my good friend Melaros puts. Acceleration settings for playing on mouse is going to be something that's added in as well, so you can at least get a better performance on mouse. I've got an acceleration on, but this mouse is, well, I'm not going to swear, but it's bad. It's really bad, and I need to get a new one. I know which one I'm going to get. There's some really decent ones out there. And also, streamer mode has been added in, so if people that want to stream want to hide their name or have a better experience because of whatever reason of griefing, then hey, then that's good as well, and that's coming into the game at a later point. And to finish off the dev diary, free loot. This is amazing, even more so because it looks like that part 1 and part 2 will mean that over a season you'll be able to pick up 2 free costumes over Twitch drops. That's incredible. I'm very much looking forward to playing over the weekend and of course covering the game, as you know, I love doing it. This game is just fantastic. It's given me a new lease of creator life, so to speak. Anyway, this is amazing. You don't have to watch for 4 hours though to get the Hela skin, but at least that this will then come out, I don't know, from Jan 26th to whatever it is for part 2, or maybe later on that, to be honest. It's a bit too jumping the gun. But this is really, really good news to see, and I'll be covering on the channel how to get the Season 1 Part 1 loot from doing a Twitch account setup, which I've done in the past, but hey, we'll make it about Season 1 and then showcase the costume, shall we? Anyway, there we go. That has been the video. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe and support the channel as we cover a lot of things when it comes to Marvel Rivals, and especially as now I'll be able to kind of deliver a lot more videos on subjects on Marvel Rivals as well. You'll be seeing a lot more from me. Anyway, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now, everybody.